The setting is 1952, and you are getting out of jail to go and lead a group to fight for your rights for freedom in the United States of America. We have all fought for something that we believe to be right. I have learned of Malcolm X in my history classes in high school. Malcolm X was a man who fought for the freedoms of the black community in any way he saw fit. I will discuss the way that Malcolm X came into being an activist and why he was so driven to help with the inequalities of this country in that time. Before we discuss the lifestyle that Malcolm X had, I will first tell you of how he grew up. The early life of Malcolm X. Malcolm X, also known as Malcolm Little, was born on May 19, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska, and was the fourth kid out of 8 in his family. His father, Earl Little, was a pastor and a member in the local chapter of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, while his mother was a homemaker. He was faced early in his life with racism because of the Ku Klux Klan. They moved to Lansing, Michigan to escape the violence of the Ku Klux Klan. His father was later murdered by the Ku Klux Klan and his mother was put into a mental home. His teacher asked him what he wanted to be. Malcolm's response was that he wanted to be a lawyer. His teacher told him that one of life's biggest lessons is to be realistic. You need to think of something you can be. Why not plan on carpentry? After being told this, Malcolm dropped out of school at just 8th grade. This information was found on biography.com and history.com. After leaving school at the age of 15, he then moved to be with his sister in Boston, Massachusetts. Malcolm's life in Boston caused him to fall in with the wrong crowd. Malcolm's sister Ella got him a job shining shoes in Boston at the Roseland Ballroom, and because of this job, he was introduced to the underground activity of Boston. He began selling drugs and used his drug money to pay for his lavish lifestyle of bouncing from club to club and buy the things he liked. Malcolm fell into a life of drugs and ended up getting 10 years in jail for larceny, but was let out after just 6 years. This information was also found on biography.com and history.com. After Malcolm got out of jail, he decided he wanted to make a better life for him and the black community around him. Malcolm X had a huge impact on the community after getting released from jail. While in prison, Malcolm was visited by his brothers who had joined the Nation of Islam, and he later joined the same group. He read while he was in jail to make up for some of his years of dropping out of school and not advancing his education. After getting out of jail, he went with the leader, Elijah Muhammad, to help spread the word of the equality for African Americans. After his release from jail, he helped raise the number of followers from 400 to 40,000 members. Malcolm told the followers that they no longer had to turn their cheek, and he said they could fight back in the process. He told the people that they could turn to violence to prove their point. I have an excerpt from Malcolm X. He said, "The government has proven itself unable or unwilling to defend the Negroes when they are being brutally and unjustly attacked. Then the Negroes themselves should take whatever stance necessary to defend themselves. And one of the best methods is by which this can be done is to establish rifle clubs. It's legal in this country to own a rifle. This doesn't mean the Negro will initiate a kind of aggressive action against anybody. It does mean the Negro will be serving notice that no longer does people believe in turning the other cheek and being the constant victim of someone else's brutality." His idol, Elijah Muhammad, broke the rules he had said to follow. He had children outside of wedlock. Malcolm said that John F. Kennedy's assassination was the chickens coming to roost. This also caused Malcolm to leave the Nation of Islam. Malcolm left and went to Mecca and had a life-changing experience. He discovered that there could be peaceful protest to try and get what he wanted out of the situation. He was killed on February 21st, 1965 by 3 members of the Nation of Islam. Malcolm was not thought of after his death as the man who wanted peaceful protest. They still thought of Malcolm as a man who wanted destruction to get his way in life. The quote and information came from History.com. Throughout his life, he was a voice for the movement of the black community's rights. In Malcolm's life, he was told he was not good enough to be what he dreamed of. He had wanted to give rights to blacks so that they could live a life without prejudice. He also did not care if there was a little blood spilled in the process of getting his point across. Malcolm X was a man who fought for the freedoms of the black community in any way he saw fit. Even though Malcolm X was viewed as a criminal and a destructive person, he had a lasting impact on the civil rights of the black community.
I love college. It's actually